Good morning, guys. I am so excited for this call. I am so excited for this call. Happy Thanksgiving, the day after Thanksgiving, right? Happy Black Friday. Um, I am just so excited for this call. Like right now, I was like reading up on some stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be a dope call, especially because we just came out of the holidays, right? We just came out of an environment of people that we cannot control, right? Because we can't control other people. But oftentimes when we find ourselves in position around family, we feel like we have to show up a certain way due to the fact that we're seeking validation from them. But before I go there, because I'm already going into topic, y'all see how excited I am. My name is Monique. For those of you guys who don't know me, I go by Killer Curls on all social media platforms. This here is Queenspiration, where a platform that I created to bring us together, honestly, to create a community and I hate to say platform, I'm going to start just using community, honestly, guys, because this is a family. This is a community that we're growing. We all come from different places, right? I know that I have things and I know all of you guys have things. But the beautiful thing is that with our things, we're able to teach each other, we're able to learn from one another, and we're able to, most importantly, love on one another. And so that's what this community is all about. On Fridays, I typically have a guest speaker. So today, my girl Sarah is joining me. We are, again, like I said, speaking about validation and how to stop seeking validation. Sarah's going to go into a little bit more personal things. But I want you guys to hear from her first, and then I'll go ahead and finish off the call. So guys, if you're ready for Sarah, drop some ones in the chat because I need some energy today. It's Friday. I know y'all shopping. I know your fingers are probably hurting from all the scrolling and all the shopping. I get it. But drop my girl some ones because I know she is about to hit us where it hurts, but feels good all at the same time. So go ahead, babe.
Good morning, everybody. I am Sarah Montañez. I am from Chicago. In case anybody doesn't know, I've spoken a few times with Mo on this call, and I love it. I love that she welcomes anybody. So thank you, Boo. I appreciate the opportunity. So to go right into it, you know, this was really totally random. So I'm totally improvising all of this. I have no notes, nothing written down. These are actually feelings and a revelation that I realized literally within the last week, less than a week, to be honest. And it's about validation, right? So like we all grow up a certain way. We all have maybe siblings, maybe not, maybe biological families, maybe adopted, like, who knows, what if a total stranger raised you because your mom left you in a garbage can, like whatever the case may be, you probably maybe always tried to seek some type of validation from someone in your family, someone you were around, or some type of acceptance, right? I know we all have had that in some sort of way somewhere, whether it was in school, whether it was from home, whether it was from some friends, the neighborhood, wherever it was, you're looking for acceptance and you're looking for a validation. Personally, me, I was always looking for acceptance and validation within my own family, which sucks, right? Because you're like, damn, I'm a black sheep. Like, I'm cool as hell. I got all these talents. I'm creative. I'm this, I'm that. But damn, everything I do is wrong, or I'm not good enough, or this or that, whatever the excuse may be. So personally, me, I realized I was constantly, even as a grown up, as a mom, as a grown woman, y'all, I'm 33 years old. Okay, baby girl, don't look it though. Like you guys, I was always seeking validation from my mom. And I just realized this because the holidays were coming and I saw her stress and I saw everything. I'm looking at her and I'm like, I know why she's stressing. I know this, I know that. I'm like, what can I do to like ease the stress? Like, I got a son, I got to make stuff happen. I can't let myself get all in her own funk, like her energy and all of that. So going through like all these emotions and motions and just realizing a bunch of stuff. I'm like, damn, Sarah, you've been literally just trying to always make your mom happy all your life. Like everything I would do was never good enough for my mom. Everything. I was in charge of keeping the house clean, making sure chores got done. And this is as a kid. I was 9, 10 years old, 8 years old, doing about 6 loads of laundry. My mom wanted it perfect. You got the lights, you got the darks, you got the whites, you got the jeans, you got the towels, then you got the bedding. 6 loads of laundry. And if there was a lot, those were doubled. You know what I mean? And you had to have it a certain way. Hot water with some bleach for the whites, some warm water for the other ones or cold water for the, like, you guys, it had to be to the T. I never did it right. It was never good enough. Or I never wiped the floor right. Never did the dish. It was always something. So it literally made me become this type of perfectionist. Relax. The perfectionist. And it made me really look down upon myself. No gorilla, no gorilla, no gorilla. Hey, I'm on a call. Gotta be patient. Yeah, so it really made me like look down about myself and feel bad about myself, to where I would seek attention and validation in other ways that aren't so good. I got a past, a bad past that I'm not too proud of, but if I could go back and redo it, it's like I would, but then I won't, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be who I am today, right? But it's like I'm not really happy about it, because here I was a teenager, I was a little hot booty, I was always playing with guys, always looking for attention, always kissing up on the boys, this and that. Like, I was very experimental at a very, 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 very young age. God forbid, you guys, I did a lot of stuff, okay? And yeah, it's all because I was always seeking validation. You guys, I could have been raped, I could have been killed in the situations that I put myself in because of what I was seeking. Now here I am, 33 years old, a few days ago, realizing like I've been acting this way because of what I've been seeking. Shh, he may get really, really loud. So if he gets loud, we're gonna cut me off. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so anyways, you guys, I just wanted to put that out there. Like, it's okay that you are the way you are because of what you've been through, but pay attention to yourself. Realize, once you realize it, you should, if it's a problem, if you don't like it or whatever it is, figure it out, fix the problem. There are so many ways, like Google, how can I help with seeking attention? Like, literally that's simple. You can just Google that on that search bar, just like you do to look for a restaurant. Like, that simple. And it's something that, you know, it's gonna take you through some tears. It's gonna break your heart a little bit. It's not gonna be all feeling good once you realize these things about yourself. But that's the beauty of actually growing, because you realize these things, you deal with these things, and you grow from it. Here I am a few days ago realizing this, right? And then about 2 days after I realized it, I'm on the phone with my dad. And we're talking. Me and my dad we're like best friends. So we be getting in some real deep conversations. We'll talk about anything. And I'm like, Papi, you know, do. So I started just telling him about what I was realizing, because how my family is. And I'm like, Papi, I'm not with it. Like, I'm ready to break all these family generational curses, because I got a son. I don't care if nobody else ain't in the spirit. I'm about to make it happen. I don't care, right? So I just start crying because I'm telling him how I'm feeling. And he's like, baby, you got to stop. You can't be dealing with that stuff. You got to let it go. You got to let it go. You can't be dwelling on it. Yeah, but first I got to deal with it. And what you don't understand is that this is the first time I'm telling people about it. So he was the first one who found out about this. So this just happened, like I said, randomly with me and Mo just a couple hours ago, within the last, 2 hours, 3 hours, when I finally hit you back because I was busy. Like, so I'm like, man, this is meant to be, you guys. I wouldn't be talking about this if I didn't just realize this a few days ago. And here I go posting it, you know, in my story earlier today. So if y'all want to see my story, y'all can follow me _ Sarah Martinez 88. Boom, boom. I put whatever I feel like putting out there, just so y'all know. But it's truth, it's facts. Like, for real, I keep it 100. I don't care how I come, whether it's sad, which normally if I'm sad and in a bad mood, I really try to be off social media. I don't want to put that out there. I don't like putting, why are you gonna put negative energy in the air? Deal with that yourself, you know. But anyway, yeah. So don't, when you feel like you constantly need to get approval from somebody, there's something wrong. If you constantly know that you need to know that if you're doing something right, like, if you don't feel like you're doing something right, there's something wrong, not in a bad way, but something that you should just work on within yourself somehow. And I think Mo maybe has some tips for you guys. So that's all I wanted to share with y'all. I love you guys. I appreciate y'all for listening, hopping on, joining us on this call. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And if I don't speak till Christmas or something, Merry Christmas in advance. No, girl, I'm just really geeked up about it. So I was telling everybody in the store it's Merry Christmas. It was weird.
Oh, you guys can't hear me. All right, guys. Oh, gosh, Sarah. I love listening to her. I love hearing her story because honestly, guys, she's somebody that all of you guys can relate to. And the one thing I love about her is she doesn't filter herself, right? And she comes as she is. She's Sarah, and you know what to expect every time you hit underscore Sarah Montanez. Okay, you already know what you about to. Already know you're gonna get the pink bubbles that come up. You know the hearts and that's her favorite filter. And you're gonna catch her and her son dancing in the kitchen like you already know because she's real and she's raw and she doesn't let situations that happen to her block her. If anything, she shares them so that they can help other people. So I appreciate that, girl. Thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for being authentic, and thank you for being you, girl, because we love you here. Okay. All right, guys. So guys, I got some notes. Listen, like Sarah said, this was literally hours ago. She posted something and it like hit me in my heart. I'm like, and she has sent me a personal video. And it was just so crazy how when she sent that to me, I'm like, dang, we should talk about validation. Like, that's it. Like I said, I forgot it was Friday, y'all. Even though I'm hollering Black Friday all damn day, I'm still like, oh shoot, it's Guest Speaker Friday, right? So like, let's go, Sarah, let's talk. I mean, anyways, y'all could talk any day. It don't have to be a Friday. Any day that you guys want to talk, you guys can talk. But anyways, with that being said, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get into what I have. The reason I said that was because I got so much notes for the little time that I had, but it's because it's God-given. Like, this is what I say every time. Like, I know that I'm working on vision now and not on sight because God is giving me the opportunity to be so enlightened that I could share things with you guys. Before, I'm telling you, it was just pen and paper and me just telling you what I read somewhere and that was it. You know what I mean? Now it's literally like, whoa, y'all. Like, so anyways, 4 steps to stop seeking validation. Okay. So before I go into the 4 steps to stop seeking validation, I'm gonna speak a little bit on validation. Okay. So I'm gonna let you guys know that all of us are wired in a way that we crave inclusion. What does that mean? We want to fit in wherever we fit in, right? And a lot of people like to rant and rave and say, oh, no, I like to stand out. I like to be different. All that whole weird stuff and like being weird and all that stuff, that is a armor, that is a guard. All of us are wired to crave inclusion, meaning even if we're the oddball out, we still want to be included in things. Okay. We don't ever want to be that different where we're not able to be included. Okay. We see this as a link with our survival, right? So what does that mean? We become triggered by rejection. So if somebody doesn't want us in their circle, we now act accordingly, right? We end up isolating ourselves. And what does isolation do? It in turn makes you depressed. It makes you anxious. It puts you in a negative headspace, which in turn messes with everything else, okay? So other consequences of being rejected. So another consequence of being rejected is that our brain behavior starts to adapt to others' disapproval. Okay, so much so that research shows that social rejection activates many of the same regions that physical pain gives us, right? So that's why they say rejection stings. It really does sting, guys. It triggers the same whatever in your brain that causes the same trigger that you have when you hurt yourself physically. You get that same feeling when you get rejected. You get that lump in your throat. You know that feeling. Everybody knows that feeling of rejection one way or another. Okay. So sometimes we have trouble thinking we're successful or good enough unless we receive validation from other people, right? When you're in work, you're seeking validation from your boss. If your boss is not telling you you're good enough, you automatically think you're not good enough. If you're not receiving that raise, you automatically assume you're not good enough. You're automatically tying your value to something else, right? Someone else's validation of you. So I understand that striving nonstop perfection can lead to burnout and unhappiness at work or in your personal life. Okay. So no matter what, if you're trying to strive for perfection, just like Sarah said, she's always trying to be perfect, trying to be the perfect cookie cutter daughter and all these things for her parents, right? Or for her mom and for other people in her family. And when they don't reciprocate the energy, she's automatically assuming that it's something that she's doing wrong. She automatically puts it on herself like, oh man, Sarah is not good enough. And so what ends up happening is you burn yourself out and you in turn become unhappy. Okay. So how do you know you've moved to approval setting territory? So how do we know that we're in a space of needing approval? I feel honestly that we all are in that space. I'm gonna be honest with you. I feel like everyone is in that space, but everyone has the power to get out of that space. Okay. So I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to ask you guys some questions. So do you change or downplay your point of view to please others in a group setting? I know I do. I know I do. And I know that that's such a bad thing. Like I'm very outspoken when I feel some type of way, like I could speak my opinion. But when I'm in a group setting of certain people, I will downplay my point of view. Either I won't speak at all, or I won't, I won't engage too much in the conversation, because I don't want to be the different one. I don't want to be the one that's like going against the grain, right? And that's what a lot of us do. So if you see yourself doing that, all right. So do you compliment people even when you don't mean it? Okay. And I don't mean it in a way where you go to the grocery store, like I tell you guys all the time, and tell the bagger, oh, thank you so much, and you're just being nice to make their day. No, guys, I'm saying, are you complimenting someone, telling them they good job when you know they ain't doing good? Are you telling somebody, oh, I like how you showing up, when you know they're not showing up? Are you just doing that just because you want to feel validated by somebody else? Okay. So are you always saying yes for request of your time? This is a big one. I know Sarah's good at this. I know I am good at this. I know a few people on this call that are good at this, okay? Someone requests your time, you're like, oh, okay, let me fit it in, even though you're like, oh my God, I just woke up thinking about all the things I have to do. And now this person asked me to do something. And of course, I'm gonna say yes, because, oh my gosh, how about if I say no, then it's gonna hurt their feelings. And then, oh my God, then they're not gonna answer me the next time. Oh my God, but then how about if they have a birthday and all the things. Oh my God, how many of us go through that? I know I do. Again, we say yes to anyone that requests our time. Do we fail? We fail to speak up if you feel mistreated. How many times are you in a position where someone made you feel uncomfortable, made you feel invalid, right? And you didn't say nothing? How many times? And then we like to say, a lot of people like to say this, oh, it's just, I don't like drama. Hi, but I don't want to, it's okay. That's just how they are. Right? A lot of us do that. A lot of us allow people to treat us however they want without saying anything, because again, we rather seek validation. We also become upset or insulted when someone disagrees with us, right? So if any of those things resonate with you, I'm here to tell you that you are in a position in the approval seeking territory. And it's okay. It's okay, because like I said in the very beginning, us humans are wired accordingly. We are wired to want to be included, which therefore puts us in a position to seek approval from those we want inclusion from. Okay. So the first steps before anything is to take responsibility and shed your approval seeking ways. Okay. So I know I'm going to say this because I wrote this one down, because I was like, oh, that's going to be a good one. How many of you guys are taking notes? Be honest. If you can, it's okay. If you're taking notes on your phone or whatever, no, you're waiting for the notes to be dropped. Okay. So even if you were taking notes, okay, if you were taking notes, let's just put hypothetical on it. If you were taking notes when I first started this call and I said, guys, today I'm going to be talking about the 4 steps to stop seeking validation. Did you write that down? Was that the big thing you wrote on your thing to make sure you have a title for your notes? Okay. So I'm here to tell you guys that before we can even get into the steps of stop seeking validation, we need to learn how to first take responsibility. So you were ready to take notes on how to stop seeking validation, but were you ready to take responsibility for the fact that you've been seeking validation from other people? I know a lot of us are not, right? So you're ready to take the notes. Did you understand what I said, Sarah? Did that make sense? You were ready to take the notes when I first started. But now, are you ready to take responsibility for the fact that you guys have been seeking validation from others this whole time? Because you can't follow the steps if you don't first take responsibility. Does that make sense? All right. So I'm going to give you guys the steps now, because we've taken responsibility, right? We've taken responsibility. All right. So now that we've taken responsibility for this, we're going to do some action steps to ensure that we get things right. All right. So number 1, ask yourself where your need for approval comes from. And I love that Sarah spoke about childhood, because guys, it comes from your childhood. It stems from your childhood. Okay. It stems from the fact that at one point, and I know all of us went through this, I know for a fact that as a child, one of your parents or somebody of authority told you a child stays in a child's place. Always. And how many of us are teaching that to our children now? We do. We try to be like, all right, you know what? Listen, mommy's talking. Mommy's talking right now. Stay in a child's place. Don't be butting in my conversation. I know we always do it, right? Because we were taught that. But what we were taught was when someone's in authority, we have to respect people in authority no matter what, even if they're wrong. Okay. So we need to ask ourselves about that in our head. Where did that come from? Was I taught that from childhood? Which again, like I said, I feel like most of us were taught that. Okay. So when you can realize that it came from seeking approval from young, okay, from the fact that we've become so uncomfortable to express our disagreement or our dissatisfaction to authority that we've allowed anything to go by. Okay. And what happens is when we allow anything to go by, now the only thing that we have tied to our well-being or to our happiness is someone telling us that we're good enough. Not that we already know that we're good enough. We're waiting for someone of authority to tell us we're good enough. Even as adults, we put people in position to be authority in our life because nobody got authority over you. Not even your boss. I'm going to tell you guys that. Only God. You and God, only that. But we place people on these pedestals in our life so much so that we allow them to be an authority figure in our life. Okay, it could be our spouse, it could be our parents, right? Because as an adult, they're not really doing that. You don't need them as far as like you needed them before, right? As far as paying your bills and stuff. So yeah, they're an elder, but they're not authority, but you put them in position to be authority because you'll never speak up to them. You'll let them say whatever they want to say because a child stays in a child's place, even though I'm grown as hell and I pay my own bills. It was bestowed upon you from childhood. So I want you guys to ask yourself where your need for approval came from. Ask yourself that, write that question down and ask yourself that later on, okay? And it could be from something different. It doesn't have to be from your childhood. It could be from the fact that you were at a job and you thought that you were doing all the work and you weren't getting the promotion. Little did you know that they were in a position of freezing promotions at the time. You had no control over that. But for whatever reason, you felt like you weren't good enough, right? So it could have started from a job. It could have started from anything. You want to say something, Sarah?
I did kind of want to touch on it so I don't forget it. So I can't wait till you're done or just say it right now. Okay. So another thing to go along with this very quickly is that childhood, it stems from childhood, you guys. Like mine, I said, stemmed from family. It can stem from school. It can stem from friends. Wherever you're not feeling loved, but where you want to be loved and accepted is where you're going to feel it. Period. And like she said, it could be later in life. You don't necessarily, maybe you could have felt it everywhere as a kid, but when you got into like being an adult and got a job or college, now you're not accepted. Now you're like, damn, like what? Like, how am I not, whatever. So one thing I want to add to this is personally me, because of what I've learned, I really try to refrain from doing a lot of certain things with my son. So like, for example, I won't say things like good boy or even to kids, period. I won't say good boy, good girl. I won't use that for a child. I won't use that because that's okay for an animal, male or female animal. Good boy, good girl, here's your treat, whatever. Not for a kid. It's something like, okay, they do this, they're a good boy. And that's the only way they're a good, that's not okay. Another thing, point number 2, I wanted to add on to this is you stay with what you're familiar with. For me, I got into an abusive relationship and always seek validation from a woman who I felt loved me and all of this other stuff. And I loved the crap out of her. I was with her for almost 10 years. And I don't know if I talked about that before, but anyway, I went into this relationship seeking validation. And it's like seeking love. I was accepted. I was getting all these things from someone I was never getting. And 2 months in is when she first beat my butt. And I was like, is this what this is like? And I stayed with her because she said, I'm sorry. She said this and I'm going to change. I never meant to do that. And she did it again and she did it again and she did it again. Whatever, you guys. I seek validation for such a long time from then this woman who was so evil. And it gets you to a point where I was personally suicidal, like plan and everything, did therapy, did all that, changed stuff up, never known about even wanting validation up until a week ago. Like I said, so here I am. I haven't been with this girl for over 7 years. So I'm still learning and growing, you guys. It's such a process. It's such a process. Take these notes, these notes that you get on these calls, they help. They help. So I just wanted to add that in there. If you felt you were seeking validation and whatnot when you were younger, think about where you are now and what you're seeking and what relationships and the relationships that you're in now. Because I bet half of them you're probably seeking the same thing, or some of them. That's it, boo. Thank you.
No, that's so good that you added that, because that's actually one of the steps. But I'm gonna get there. But thank you for sharing that. It's so true. Listen, I'm telling you, every single one of us struggle with this, and it's okay. We just got to figure it out. So number 2 is make friends with rejection, guys. We have to make friends with rejection. Okay, we got to think back to a time when we failed to meet expectations or disappointed someone. Okay, and I know that all of us have a time in our life where we've done that, right? We forgot something important, right? You forgot to text your friend, your cousin, your auntie on their birthday, right? And now you feel you like, oh my God, I can't even text them. I can't even, it's been 2 days. Oh my God, I can't. Now you see their picture that they posted on Instagram. You ain't even gonna like it because you scared that they gonna say something to you. It happens, okay? We gotta think back to those times where we made a mistake at work, right? How did you recover from that slip up? What did you learn as a result? Like Sarah just said, it took her how long? She was with somebody 10 years, and then it's been 7 years, and here we are now, her realizing where she became approval driven, right? And now she's trying to learn at this age, which again, guys, it's never too late. It's never too late for you to realize something and change something. But we got to make friends with rejection, okay? When you break it down, disapproval is a form of feedback, right? So think about it. When somebody disapproves of you, it's just a form of feedback. It's their opinion, just like anything, anywhere you go, it's feedback. Okay, so they disapprove. Cool, it's feedback. So think about it. It's a reflection. Okay, let me think about that. Okay, that don't reflect what I am. All right, cool. But if there's anything that you could think about that ties to what they said, right, then you can make improvements. And that's the beauty of it. So when we stop looking at rejection as something negative and start to see it as something positive, because it's just feedback, okay? It means we're able to move forward and we're pushing limits rather than just staying in our comfort zone, right? It's feedback. Thank you. You don't approve? Cool, thank you. Right? Because there's things that we know that people disapprove of, right? And we know we shouldn't be doing them, but it hurts when someone tells you. So think about it and make friends with it, okay? Make friends with it, understand, see it as something positive every single time. Every single time. I encourage you that anytime somebody gives you negative anything, okay, rejection, objection, all of the things, take it as feedback. And it's a positive thing to put you in position to think differently, see a different point of view, and possibly change something. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Sorry, y'all, that's Instagram. All right, so number 3, embrace a growth mindset. This one's big, okay? So when you prioritize learning and constant improvement, you free yourself from needing approval from others. Okay. Studies show, I like to tell y'all studies, right? Because for real, if you guys don't know, when you know about studies, it makes it a little bit more real, right? When you know other people, even more, it makes it even more real than me saying I've been through that. Because you hear like, oh, studies, it's like science. Like you're like, oh, scientists looked that up. They said that's in the brain, that's in the heart. Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So like, that's why I like to go there with y'all. But studies show that individuals who viewed skill and ability as something to be developed over time rather than unchangeable were most likely to achieve their full potential. Okay. So when we realize that we can constantly be developed as individuals and change, okay, and we keep that growth mindset, that's when we can reach our full potential. Studies show that. That ain't Monique, that's studies, y'all. That's science. That's somebody doing research, right? And that's crazy to me because it's so true. It's so true. We can easily think like, that's just the way it is. I tell y'all, Tupac taught us. That's just the way it is. Mm-hmm. Things will never be the same. I love him. Okay, but anyways, no, but for real. He taught us that's just the way it is. And a lot of us were raised that way. That's just the way it is. These are just our circumstances. That's just the way it is. This is what we're going to do. It's okay. we gonna accept government assistance for the rest of our life because that's just the way it is. We just gonna live, we gonna just live closed-minded because that's just the way it is. This is how I was raised. I'm telling you, I had that mindset for real. Closed-minded all the way. I told y'all, I tell you guys all the time, where I come from, guys, where my family, how my family is, where we come from. I could have easily stayed in that mindset. And I stayed up into 30 years old, just like Sarah said. She's 32, she just learning. I'm 30, I'm learning. Because honestly, guys, I had the mindset that, there's no change. You can't change something that's been here. When they say you can't teach a old dog new tricks, that's the mindset I had. That's a closed mindset. Did you guys know that? When you tell somebody that just because you old or just because you were trained a certain way for so long, this is just who you are, that's a closed mindset. That's a fixed mindset. But we need to have a growth mindset. Okay. If we want to stop seeking validation from other people, we need to know that we are able to change and we need to continuously learn. Okay. By understanding that there is an abundant room for growth, improvement, and success, you'll start to care less about others' validation. You'll start to care less. You ain't worried about that. Why? Because Sarah, are you recording? Because I can see you. She's like posing. I'm like, is she taking a picture? I'm sorry, y'all. I pay attention to y'all. That's how y'all know I be paying attention. All right. So that was number 3. Number 4, and the last one, focus on the process, not the outcomes. Focus on the process, not the outcomes. Okay. And this is exactly what Sarah was talking about saying good job, good boy, or good boy, good girl, right? You automatically tell your child that because they did this, they get this. That what they did wasn't good enough. Just the fact that they finished should be good enough. Just the fact that they did that should be good enough. But in turn, we tell them, no, here's this. Good job. That is validating you. Not the fact that you finished, not the fact that you ate all your food, not the fact that all those things. No, I'm going to give you something to validate you, right? So we need to focus on the process, not the outcome. If you're prone to approval seeking, focus on improving the process rather than achieving a particular outcome, right? So when you focus too much on the outcome results, you attach your self-worth to external standards, right? Again, same thing with work. You automatically assume you're not good enough because you haven't gotten that promotion, but there's no position open. That ain't in your control. That doesn't mean you're less of an employee. That doesn't mean you're not worth the promotion. That just means the position is not for you. And that could be a gift in itself. A lot of us think that we're supposed to be in a certain place, a certain position, around a certain type of person, or making a certain type of amount of money. But we don't realize that we're in protection every single time. Every no is a protection from something, okay? You think you were supposed to get that job, and guess what? You didn't get that job. Now you feel like you're not valid. You're not a good employee. But little do you know, God was protecting you because he knew if he put you in that position, you were going to be anxious. You were going to be depressed. You were going to end up in a downward spiral. So he protected you. But now you think you're less than. And everything God was trying to show you, you think the opposite. He's trying to tell you, no, you're worth more. And you're like, nah, I ain't worth nothing because I didn't get that job. Because we are seeking, we are tying our self-worth to an outcome. How many of you guys are doing my name, right? And we tell ourselves, oh man, I ain't rank up in a month. I didn't rank up this month, last month. Oh my God, I'm just not good at this. This is just not for me, all the things. But you're doing all the work, right? If you know you're doing all the IPAs, if you know that you're doing all the income producing activities, and every day you're showing up and you're doing what you're supposed to, you know that. If you know that, and you could say that with all your heart, and the results are not coming, it's just God protecting you at this moment because you think you're ready, but you're not. And that's okay. That doesn't mean you're less than anybody that's up there making millions of dollars. Because a lot of us do that, right? We want to compare ourselves. Oh, but I'm not, but they did it in 3 months. Oh, but they did it in 8 months, 6 months. Oh my God, the time is ticking. What's wrong with me? Maybe this is just not for me. But we do this in so many different things. Relationships. How many of us have had failed relationships and automatically assume that we're just not good enough to be loved? Some of us haven't been loved by our parents. You automatically assume you're not capable of being loved. And that's what ends up happening. Okay. So we need to stay focused on the process, like I said, and not the outcomes. When you focus too much, I already said that. So at the end of the day, the only person you need to answer to is yourself, guys. That's just what it is, right? Like I said from the beginning, you are the authority figure in your life. You have sole control over your life. The only other person that you should be relinquishing authority to is God, period. He's the only one that controls your steps other than you. Okay? It's you doing the physical work. You're the one that's taking the physical move. But God, if you allow him to, is the one that's making you move. Okay? So understand that that's the only approval you need. If you're seeking approval at any moment of your day, of your life, open up the Bible. And I'm sorry if you don't believe in that. You don't go there, that's fine. You don't got to do that. You can meditate. You could sit with yourself and figure out what you need to be one. But if you believe in God, open up the Bible. If you're looking for approval, God gonna give you something. I guarantee you that. Open the Bible and read the passage. What does it say? Oh, honor thy mother, thy father, whatever, and you in a position right now where you mad at your mom because she not giving you validation. God said, here you go. I gave you something else. Just go love her. You don't need her approval. Just love her. I'm not telling you to ask for her approval. I said to honor her, love her. But most importantly, we need to honor ourselves. So guys, know that by working to free yourself from approval seeking, you're honoring yourself and your needs. So honor yourself and your needs by letting go of the need to seek someone's approval. You don't need that, guys. I'm here to tell you, not even me. I can't tell y'all nothing. Because let me tell you, I'm here. I'm doing the work. But it goes down to your spouse too, right? I'm not telling you to be disrespectful, y'all. Don't. If spouses are listening in the back, I'm not saying that. Don't be disrespectful to your spouse, but just know that they're not an authority figure in your life. I don't care if they make more money than you. I don't care if they're a man and you're a woman. I don't care about none of that. Okay? They don't have an authority in your life. What they have is you have a teammate. You're doing this as a team. And think of that with everybody, guys. Anybody that you feel like you're seeking validation from, put in your mind that you're on a team. You know what? They're just a team. They're being a team player by calling me out, by telling me something. Period. They're giving me feedback. Thank you, coach. Period. And it don't even got to be, no, let's not say coach. We're going to say team member, like I said, because y'all on the same team. They don't even know it, but they're helping you. Your mom, Sarah, she don't even know it, but she's helping you. You see what I'm saying? Like these are things that, because how is she helping me, Mo? She put that, I'm looking for validation. How are you telling me she's helping me? Why? Because guess what? Guess what you're not going to do with your son? You're not going to tell him good boy. Right? Period. She's helping you. She's on your team. God puts players on your team that even you don't even get along with. You're like, I can't play the game with this person. They don't play the game like me. They wasn't with me shooting in the gym. They can't be on my team. God said, yes, they can. I put them on your team. Y'all don't got to play the same position. They're playing a different position in your life. But they're put in place to be on your team. If you see it that way and stop seeing it like everybody's your opponent and against you, you'll stop worrying about all that stuff. And you'll realize what God has got, what God is saying to you all along. You'll open your eyes and your ears to a different point of view, a different perspective. Because sometimes we can't even see ourselves and we right there in front of ourselves. So sometimes people that don't even like us got to be the one to deliver the message. That's just what it is. That's okay. But just like I said, keep that in mind. Thank you, God, for putting that person on my team. I see what you did there with that player. Every time, if we thought about it like that, that's a growth mindset. Thank you. I see that player you put in my corner for a second. How many of us have friends that we thought was going to be down forever and they're no longer there? But God put them in your corner for a reason, because if you could think back, maybe that person saved you from something. Maybe they introduced you to somebody else that you needed in your corner now. Who knows? But God knows. You don't even got to know. God knows why he put that player on your team. Stop looking at people as your opponent. There is nobody up against you here. Nobody. It's you against you every single time. If you let that go, you'll never need approval from nobody. You'll take it as feedback. You'll have a growth mindset and know that that's positive. It's going to help me grow. It's going to help me be a better mom, a better daughter, better sister, better uncle, better brother, husband, all of the things. But we got to first take responsibility. Like I said, take responsibility and realize that you're in an approval seeking territory. Relinquish control and know that you are only physically taking the steps, but everything else is God's work, his plan, 100%. Go ahead, Sarah.
I kind of wanted to add to that because literally since the other day, that call that you had where you said if you don't like the temperature in the room, change it. That you already know my story with all of that. But girl, I've been like repeating that all the time to where I literally repeated it out loud yesterday to my mom because it was just like, Mom, refresher. If you don't like the energy, change it. You know, she was like, yeah, cool, right? But anyway, this goes to an experience that I just had with my granny. So my granny has always mistreated me. I don't know if I shared it all with you guys, but it's been bad. Our relationship has been bad. She's always against me, whatever, for whatever reason. I've never done anything. I've asked her personally, like, what have I done to you? Why do you treat me like this? You don't treat me like a granddaughter. Can you honestly tell me you treated me like a granddaughter? And she can't tell me. So like, I've literally called her out on her shit, which with my family, why is for, yeah, good job. You're so smart, y'all. Anyway, I called her out on her stuff and good job, baby. 1 second. Good job. Put the S down. And whatever. I've learned that when I call her out on her stuff, she hushes up, right? When you tell a person about themselves, usually they shut up and they ain't got nothing else to say. They're like, they just have nothing else to say. This morning, I went outside real quick to throw out some garbage. I noticed like sparrows looking for some food. My granny feeds them. She hasn't fed them, I guess. So I noticed some birds looking for food. I'm like a bird whisperer sometimes in my eyes because I'm like, oh God, these birds are out here. They're hungry. Let me go get some bread. Went in the house. I'm like, hey, these birds need some bread. You got some bread? Da, da, da. No, I ain't got no bread. So I got some bread. Let me get these birds some bread real quick. She goes, what are you going to do? My grandmother says this. She goes, what are you going to do? I'm like, I'm going to give the birds some food. They're out there looking for some food. There's no bread out there. La, da, 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 da. The energy, I'm an empath. I feel energy instantly. I felt her think to herself like, oh, that's so sweet. Sarah's going to feed the bread. La, la, da, da. Now, mind you, she does not like me. So she doesn't say nothing else to me. But about an hour later, when now my mom is up, we're all in the kitchen having coffee, do our own thing. I'm on my phone, they're on their phone, my grandma's doing dishes, whatever. My granny out of nowhere goes to tell my mom because it's a public service announcement. She goes, Sarah fed the birds earlier. And I'm like, yes, I did. And you liked it. I felt the energy. I called her out on her shit, y'all. And she literally just looked at me with the look like, huh. And my mom was just laughing. You guys, I'm literally all about breaking generational curses. These two ladies, Mo knows the business. It's not easy living with these women because when you got 3 queens trying to run one household, all you got is head bumping. So that's all I wanted to add in there. Like, just be you, be yourself. You control the energy in the room. You don't need no validation from nobody. You're doing a good ass job. Whether it's the best job or not, get the job done. It doesn't need to be perfect. And yay. And that's all, guys. I love you guys.
She's so funny. I love her. The way she tells her stories, I just love her. But I want to say something to you real quick, Sarah. I want to encourage you to always lead with love, right? So yes, you want to call people out on their stuff, but sometimes, especially like you said, there's 3 queens trying to run a house, right? Remember, you're on the same team. Remember, God has you in position for greatness. So whenever those things happen, again, like I said, thank you, God, for putting that player in my team on my team right now. I don't know why, because it's hard. It's real hard to accept when somebody's being nasty nice, when you know they don't like you, when you have this whole story in your head. But remember that the only way things are going to change is if you change, right? And like you said, you're breaking generational curses, and that's why you do things different with your son. But try to do things different with your mom and your grandma. Love them.
I'm so sorry. That was my main point right there, is like, calling them out, and not in a mean way, and not like
Oh,
being
right.
nasty about it. No, I'm positive about it because I want them to see that like it doesn't need to be nasty. Like you don't need to be negative. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't like that negativity. Like all day yesterday, I was the happiest person in the room. It's crazy. I literally walked in the room of about 15 people and I said, "Happy Thanksgiving." Ain't nobody say it back. And I went, "Happy Thanksgiving, everybody." Nobody said it back. I went like this and nobody said it back. And it's like, you know what? I just know that be that light in a room, no matter how bright it already is, be that light. Or no matter how dark, be the light. Like, anyway, it's very important. I got a lot of good things from both my mom and my grandmother that I've learned that I've gotten from them, even though they've treated me not so nice. So I am very thankful for it, you guys. Thank you, Mo, because yeah, girl.
No, one thing that's beautiful about that is, guys, if you have to get off, I get it, but if you have to, it's okay. Because we've been on here for a minute. I didn't even realize the time. But one thing I do know is that the validation that we seek from other, like I said, it's always you versus you, right? It's always us versus us. And so one thing for all of us, right, is that we need to start giving ourselves the love that we're looking from other people. Because what ends up happening is, like I said, we seek validation or we seek this love factor. We're trying to fill in this gap. We fill it with things that are not good, right? We fill it with toxic people that are even worse, that show red flags from the beginning, but we just ignore them because it's like, it feels good right now. This is love. Yes, I've been waiting for this, until it doesn't feel like love anymore. But you knew that from the beginning, but you put yourself in that position because it felt good at the moment, because whatever you were looking for, you couldn't find in your parents or your siblings. Guys, I went through that so much. Okay. I have always been the person that felt like I didn't fit in nowhere, y'all. I came from a split family. Okay. My brothers were raised by my dad. My sister was out doing her own thing. I was by myself with my mom. My mom moved me from Chicago to Florida. All my family was back in Chicago. So I was watching my cousins be raised together, have Thanksgiving, Christmas together. I'm watching my brothers have Thanksgiving, Christmas with my dad. And I'm here with my mom by myself in Florida. I always used to think, oh man, when I go to Chicago, I that they got their inside jokes, they got their memories. When I go to Indiana to go see my dad, they already got their stuff. So where do I fit in? I always had that issue. My dad tells me I have identity issues, but it's not identity issues, it's self-love issues. Because if I loved myself enough through all of that, none of those validations would have mattered. Because I would have said, it doesn't matter where I walk in, I could set the tone, I set the temperature. So if I want to be happy, I'm going to be happy. And anybody that wants to embrace it can embrace it. And if they don't, it's okay. It's nothing against me. It's a them thing. But so long in my life, I was seeking that. I was seeking someone to tell me they loved me. Listen, my brothers used to post my other sister, I love my sissy. And I used to get so offended, y'all. I so offended. I used to be like, well, how about me? Like, dang, like you know what I mean? Like, how about me? But it wasn't a me thing. They have their own memories. And that's okay. Why would I be sad about that? Why am I be upset about that or offended about that? But it's because I didn't love me enough. I held on to the outcome. Oh, I need them to post me for me to feel like I'm a good sister or that they love me. Instead of me just showing up as a good sister and knowing that my actions speak louder than any validation that anybody could give me. But we seek it, we wait for it, we fill it with things that we don't need. And that's just what ends up happening. So guys, I encourage you guys to really take these steps. If you did not get them, I will drop them. I know I have not been dropping the notes because it's so hard, y'all. I be writing so many pages. And then I look at it and I'm like, oh my God, I gotta type all that. Because I'm so overcomplicated. But I will drop the notes later on today. I will find time to do that for sure. Guys, I hope you guys got value out of this call. I feel like this call was much needed. A lot of us sit in this. A lot of us sit in this validation territory, seeking validation. And I'm here to tell you that not your friends, not your family, not your spouse. You don't need validation from nobody. You need validation from yourself and the Lord. That's it. Okay. So with that being said, guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a great Friday, a great weekend. Oh my gosh, it's the weekend. Holy moly. What a weird week, right? Like chopped up. It was real weird. But guys, also real quick before we go, I just wanted to say to you guys, for those of you that weren't on the call yesterday, we did get a prayer from Melissa. She prayed over Queenspiration as a whole. And that's something that I really been wanting because I go on her prayer call every single morning. And I just really wanted her love and her, her God-given grace on Queenspiration. So if you have time, go watch the video. I sent it in the chat, but I also posted it on IGTV, just so that you guys can be aligned with what it is that we're doing here. This community, like I said, that's growing through the grace of God. So I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Hit me up if you guys need me over the weekend. You know where to find me. And that is all. I will see you guys on Monday, same place, same